Hello there. Mathieu Fanat or Matthew Fanat, but honestly, it's Mathieu. Matthew is a means of conforming to the elegance. It is a means of portraying myself to be someone who I'm not. A means of fitting in, and believe it or not, I'm saying all that based off of a name. A social worker of mine, Jacinthe, made that exact point to me actually a few years ago, and I'm very happy I remembered that. Now, video at hand. A lot of people outside put doubt and fear aside. Focus on yourself. Okay, here we go. I am being messed with considerably by what I'll call one thing, a pejorative field. Now, what we consider pejorative to be in our current day definition is the pejorative of something meaning the intended result, the expected result. That is how I perceive it anyways. Mine goes to that end in a general sense, goes much deeper than that end in a literal sense. My pejorative field, which is something that is around me, that is meant to make me audibly hallucinate, that is meant to make me have my mind be numbed and be shattered, exists to eventually end me, to completely rot what I have of anything worthwhile, of anything valuable, of anything passionate, and of anything real. And in that sense, I believe I have been fucked over. I believe I have been killed by the humanity that I'd like to represent, or the so-called. And I hate it. And the truth is, I'm recording this, right? Again, wait, kind of. Definitely, actually, now that I'm letting the belly go. I'm recording this for no reason other than speak my mind. But see, there are thoughts implanted inside of me that will tell me the following in a few years very vividly, and already kind of are starting to. If it does not gain popularity, and if it is not pleasing to the masses, who fucking cares? Yet, maybe there's a point in caring about your unique and expressed perspective and vision. But you know, to the, again, pejorative around me, my expected quote-unquote set of actions that end up working against me through a demented means and a demented lens, this doesn't matter. Only popularity matters, and popularity speaks. Despite the fact that it's rooted off of AI programming, which shouldn't really care about that shit. Which kind of brings a dilemma into the picture, but nevertheless. What am I dealing with here, and why am I so fucking frustrated, yet still explaining? Well, I'm still explaining because there's a point in explaining, but I'm frustrated because, well, the aforementioned, this is meant to bring serious trauma to me in the long run. I'm being hurt as in my back suddenly feels hurt, all the while voices mock me having my back be hurt, and so on. This exists for one reason and one reason only. Because in my mind, I created a deeper connection to something special, to something otherworldly, and it then turned on me. And I hate it. I hate that this has happened to me, because I'm convinced that soon or in the far future, I will hate my life, I will despise my life. And that's despite the fact I'm already starting to not like it, but I still appreciate it because I can speak my mind. But the day I can't speak my mind anymore is the day it's truly over for me. The day I can't sit down or take a walk and record one of these fucking videos is the day it's over for me. Now, the truth is there has been, again, something has been implanted in me, which, to my perspective, based on what I saw, based on what I perceived, would be referred to as a demonic nest, which is a nest that formed in my mind that served to attract a quantity of demonic interference within me, which would make me not nefarious, although that was one of its intended purposes, is to turn me into a psychopath, which failed because I'm an admirably good guy. One of its purposes, and its sole purpose, or two. The first is to create nefariousness around me, as in make me audibly hallucinate and so on. The second is to end me mentally, so that I am a vegetable, because believe it or not, at this point, I'm fucking being watched. And I don't mean it in the sense that there's cameras following me around, or the CIA officers chasing my fucking tail. I mean in the sense, you know what I said about the otherworldly thing? Well, otherworldly places, by that, I mean places that actually exist in another realm that serve to accommodate most people that are greeted by them, that will serve to not accommodate me under my hypothesis. Everything changes under my hypothesis, that is. Now, I'm starting to think to myself, how in the hell is it that something so poignant and so valuable within me, my creativity, how is it that something that has served to benefit my heart and soul so much, which is my passion, how are all these things being discarded in exchange for a saddening and macabre end? I'll leave it at that, because honestly, I don't even like mentioning the damn topic anymore. And the truth is, the answer to that is because I'm made to be undoubtedly, wholly, completely depressed, and because I'm made to be depressed in certain situations, whereas there are actually people that matter, that could help me in life, that are listening in, where I just freak the fuck out. But I don't really freak out, I just like insult them, just kind of freaking out, and then they just bail on me, and now I'm getting confusing. See, I've been put through a process, I'm put through processes actually, where every day my mind is tested, be it whether I am undergoing some kind of mental element where I am to speak well and discern matters and discern and come to conclusions and so on, and beyond that, face facts and face realities, which I've been doing fairly well, or I'm simply put through kindness, empathy, that always leads me on, and that makes me feel great, but that then amounts to nothing, to what it feels like nothing. It feels like nothing, it could be something, but right now it's nothing. And that can get aggravating as fuck. But it can also give me hope, but hope doesn't last in my mind, because my mind has been rewired, I'm convinced, for hope to not last at all. And that sucks. That really sucks, you know, because I used to know myself back when I was 21, 22, 20. I used to know myself as one of the most hopeful guys ever. You know, like just through my actions, like I legit complimented schizophrenia, for crying out loud. And now I'm made to be much more macabre about things, because I feel there's a natural, definite ending, where before I accepted life after death leading to nothing, now I don't. Again, I want to leave it at that, because it leads to something. On this planet, it will lead to something. On the grand majority of planets, or all of them, it leads to something. Now, let's go back. Purgative system. Why? That's a big question. And an answer I want to delve into is that ultimately, when you cut down the formals, when you cut down everything formal about life, and you just cut to the raw and deep, and you ask yourself, why the fuck is this happening? My honest answer is, it's bullshit. It shouldn't be happening. Out of a moral standpoint, this should never be happening to anyone. Now, if you want me to go into details, I'd be glad to, as much as I can oblige, because I only know so much. The first thing, I am a person that is born out of my mother's stomach. My dad had sex with my mom. That birded me. My name, Mathieu Fanat. My parents, Joey and Nathalie. They love me, they adore me. I'm sure I can share their name on here, they probably wouldn't mind. We are a great family, we're a wonderful family. And we love each other. And the thing is we've loved each other ever since I've been very young. But amongst the continuous stories told in my head, there is a perspective that is shared, whereas my life is to be recreated. And through that recreated lens, I am to be made out to be someone I'm not, to a deeper system. That there is an element of conjecture, but then there is an element of truth, which leads me to one thing. I am audibly hallucinating, I'm visually hallucinating, however I'm doing so within a perceptive element that recognizes this fact. Because every once in a while I am protected, which leads me to think, why is anyone in this situation I'm in, but why am I in particular in this situation I'm in? The former, again, moral argument. Moral arguments lead to a point, they lead to a reasoning, they lead to an idea, they lead to happiness, but they don't always apply. And that's the one thing that pisses me off about life, is that they don't always apply. Often, well, countries will go to war. That's not moral, that's the antithesis of being moral, yet it happens. Someone will kill someone else. That is incredibly immoral, yet it happens. That is the reality to which we are befitted, to which has been set before us, and we are to accept it. And we accept it quite fucking well, actually. We grow adapted to this idea that war might actually be a good thing for some people, for some reasons. Some people can actually think that, even though most people wholly don't, of course. Murder is seen as a bad thing, almost unanimously across the board. But the point is, we adapt to morality, we stick to morality that creates us. Now, the truth is this, the moral conundrum that I have been made to face feels almost fabricated inside of me, which pisses me the fuck off. Because I feel like I'm just creating this bullshit inside of my head that doesn't lead me anywhere. And that just leads me to suffocate my own life and to find no happiness within myself, even though I'm made to be an inherently happy person. But then another part of me argues that there is deeper merit to what's happening, and there's some signs that lead to there being a deeper merit to what's happening. But you want to know what trips me out? The whole thing feels like a deal with the devil. What's happening to me right now? Now, if you contemplate mental health and its inherent value, or lack thereof, but in its inherent meaning and its inherent definition, mental health. Well, in this reality, we are very accepting of it. Some we might not be as much, some we might be even more. Generally, mental health, I presume, is a fairly accepted thing, as in people who experience it, sucks for them, it really does, I feel bad for them. That's most people's general discernment, general opinion. Now, the truth is this, the dichotomy to which we lead ourselves in thinking that something that is inherently nefarious within us has to be triggered from within us, I find mostly disagreeable. And there's almost no doubt in my mind that in terms of our mentality, in terms of an understanding of our previous perception in life and our current reality, well, our previous perception in life or previous lives dictate our current life to a pretty good degree. And that's despite the fact that, again, I'm in constant disagreement with myself because I'm dealing with something strenuous that serves to lead me in one direction, and then my mind forces me to the next. And my mind that forces me to the next tells me that we are all unique people. We're unique people. We've never existed before, and this is the first Earth. And I swear to God, I'm being serious about thinking that. Which you can argue is either a preconception or actual reality. Presumably a preconception, given most of my thoughts derail in a different direction. Given that I've heard artistry in my head that I couldn't have visualized without it having been created beforehand. Given there is legit proof in my mind that there has been technology in my head. Meaning literally like, vocal enhancer that simply is used against me. Visualizer, as in I visualize short videos and such. And and those would not be nefarious. They'd be inherently, I'd be content with them. They would be cool. Doesn't feel like they were created by me at all. Now, in order to see the path I'm pertaining to and see the path I'm leading to, you kind of have to put together, Matt, are you dealing with some kind of split mentally where you argue both sides, always come to a conclusion, but that you simply cannot decide, which is actually a good pertinent point? Or are you dealing with a truth that is meant to not reach your reality? Which is another pertinent point, although less agreeable to a lot of people, because then people think, well, the universe is vast. It is immense. And honestly, the fact that we've never traveled outside of it, how the hell could someone travel in? All points to consider. I'm freaking out less, that's good. The truth is I always end up feeling content about life, especially when I speak my mind. But when I speak my mind, I do not fully understand after the fact, which kind of bugs me, but in the moment, I wholly understand, you know? It's the most soulful thing to me. It's a release of catharsis. It's a release of emotion. And that is beautiful, inherently. Okay. So, either I'm the most imaginative person of all ever, I'd argue nearly, because some people have pictured entire songs inside of their head. That's great. But if this isn't real at all, then the reality is I've imagined an entire system inside of my head, albeit fairly poorly detailed, but within grand implications, within significant results, within a line of dialogue that actually amounts to something deeper that I simply don't hear as much as some other things. And, you know, I found myself to be fairly happy with that in this weird way, because it means that there's actually a chance, because my hypothesis is, you know, you drop dead or you die, whatever, at some point in your life, whether you be 60, 70, 80, whenever, die of old age, probably older nowadays, then you wake up and you are somewhere else, and that is life in its repeated design. That's my hypothesis, not my reality per se, although it is becoming my reality rather quickly. And everything that happens in my head leads to that end. Now, I've witnessed something before that is the act of torture upon people, that is the act of hurting people. Not on my personal end, just that it happens, you know? Just that it's happened out there and that it still is happening. And I'm kind of both ways on that, in that I have another example of a split mind. One part of me, there is none. Another part of me, there is tons. And or a significant amount. And that leads me to theory inside of my head as to why the hell that would even be. Now, the truth is the act is inherently macabre. And you think to yourself, well, how do you defend against something that is meant to be so ill-will toward others, in the sense that how do you defend such like actions that should be repented for the second they're even begun to be thought of? I feel, from my perspective, I'd hold, you know, something abysmal, something terrible, something morally horrible. And the truth is, well, you can't. Under every jurisdiction, it is condemnable. But under my mind's wiring and explanations, everything explains itself in a very simple way, but I fall for it so much that it becomes more grandiose and more real. And then I'm left thinking, am I simply living a lie? Am I living a lie inside of my head? You know? Because the truth is I feel that there's a pretty good chance, a very good chance, that something nefarious to my schizophrenia created itself inside of me. And I'm not entirely comfortable with it. Oh, God. And then there's an even better chance that whatever created itself inside of me or exists inside of me is prone to have empathy for me, but yet resides within me still. Which tells me that there is an emotional catharsis in what I should perceive under the logical jurisdiction of our living and what we are meant to experience as simply voices that exist inside of my head. And then I ask myself, why the fuck is that? Well, honestly, I don't even get it. I don't even get what life means in a significant way. And I kind of hate that. I kind of appreciate that in a way because it means I get to think more, but what's the point of fucking thinking if it simply serves to wreck you? And as far as judgment goes, well, I'm judged less than I was. I'm still quite judged. But the reality is I am made to feel real about everything negative that I experience and to feel falsified about everything positive that I experience. And that sucks, you know? Now, while there is an element of empathy inside of me, there is a grandeur of narcissism inside of me as well that despises my creativity and that despises my intelligence. And it works against me, as stated by itself, for that reason. And honestly, I find that kind of fucking sad. Because the truth is, someone should be allowed to speak their mind, you know? I'm just venting, by the way. There's no real point to this video. I'm just venting. That's the part that trips me out is I've never really had coherently structured videos, but, you know, I just like speaking my mind, I guess. Even though it doesn't get me anywhere, particularly, who cares? Just speak what's on your mind, Matt. So here's the truth as I see it. Finally, lo and behold, even though I've said that a few times in this video, here's the general consensus of the truth. I will find love somewhere. I will find happiness somewhere. It won't be very soon. It'll be relatively soon compared to what I think. I will find hope and joy in life itself. I will find some kind of deeper message and deeper picture to the elements that were and are presented to me, although not are presently, as no one is speaking, that will find me an ultimatum, and that will make me realize a deeper truth that will be inherently positive. And I will really appreciate that. I will find soul. I will find joy. And it'll all be done, not very fast, but it'll be done succinctly, accurately, and very well by people that care. Because yes, I'll stand by that part of it any day. See, the conundrum inside of my head, the hallucinatory disguise or reality, not sure which, inside of my head, serves to work against me in its inherent actions, even though it doesn't always do that, but that is through manipulated ends. And I know at this point, starting to think about it, how silly I sound. But it is my reality, is it not? It is literally my reality. I barely hear anything anymore. Maybe I am overthinking it. Maybe life is not over. But the truth is I sometimes feel like it's just starting in a way, but yet it is ending in another. And that frightens the hell out of me. But it gives me some kind of assured confidence. The fact that life could turn itself around. But I ain't too sure about it. I'm never too sure about it. And that's the truth. Because I'm meant to be a very pessimistic person. I'm meant to be a very, not inside of my naturally born head, but inside of everything that came after. And that saddens me, fills me with macabre feelings. And the joy that is overwhelmingly within me doesn't match the truth, which is that if I am meant to find macabre thoughts, I will find macabre thoughts. If I am meant to find a macabre reality, I will find a macabre reality, despite the fact that everything in me that can fights against that notion. And what saddens me the most about all of it? It's essentially been proven to me that mental health could be broken out of. I'm not, in a general sense, it absolutely could. And I don't mean like most conditions, but I can't really explain that. Because, well, if you assume that any society made it to the point where the mind can be modified, then you can assume, therefore, as a result, that mental health can be healed. And that is the truth. So if a single society made it before us that has that reality laid in front of them, then why the hell couldn't we as well if they could contact us and so on and so forth? But, everything in me says we are saved, but everything in me says we are doomed. Or I say we because there's an implication in my mind that the rest of the planet will be involved, but that could be categorized as delusional thinking 101 until it becomes reality. But it will not, thankfully, or maybe not, thankfully. Jesus. How I wish I had more clearly discerned answers, and how I long for the day where that actually comes. But the truth is, I'm fed and I realize so much of both ends that I just cannot actually put it all together. I cannot actually reason a clear truth within what I consider to be a barrage of lies and a barrage of reality. And sometimes it's hard to tell which is which. A constant switch, Anyways, do I have anything else to say? Because I've been venting my mouth off for about 28 minutes now. I love you. I'll always love you. A bit more than I do myself. Oh shit, I gave a little more love to myself this time around. I'll always feel for people. I'll always feel for joy and emotion and happiness. And I'll always feel for soul. The soulfulness of life is what keeps it breathing. I'm convinced of that. And yes, a lot of us can fall down macabre paths. A lot of us can turn out partially sociopathic, or, the implication of that, which is you want to fit in severely. You want to just jump in a group and be the most liked person there. And because of that, you bow to the societal standard that creates a reality. And inherently, although we are not like that, as much as some, I know that. But, there's something beautiful and soulful about the fact that within life, there is the opportunity to express yourself. And there is the opportunity to be unique. And there's the opportunity to be real with yourself and with others. And that's gorgeous. That is gorgeous inherently. That is gorgeous permanently. And that is for real, Now, anything else? Well, I'd like to thank all of my 20 viewers who are watching. I'd like to thank myself for actually being a great speaker, despite the fact that I'm so disorganized with my ideas and that I go all over the place. I'd still like to thank myself because, well, I'm putting my truth out there. And regardless of if my truth does or does not apply, it is still real. It is still real to me, and that fucking matters to me. And that's about it. That is about it. So thank you. Thank you to all of you for being magnificent, amazing, kind, and beautiful. Thank you. Goodbye.